All right, welcome back from the break. You're still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, Global Morning on Global Television. It's now time for us to look at some very big issues, talking point, and we're focusing on the Southeast this morning as we look at the security situation in the Southeast, assessing the threat posed by scavengers. We are told that the SSG to the government of Enugu State, Professor Chidebere Onya, has reaffirmed the proscription of scavengers in the state owing to the threats they pose, and that led to a roundtable seat between the state government and the Hausa Fulani community to intimate them on why the government had taken that stand. All right, to help us look at this very interesting talking point is the other person but Kester Elebe Sunu, one of Nigeria's finest lawyers and activists to help us assess what this means to the people of Southeast and the fight against insecurity in the country. Good morning, Kester. Nice to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Momodu. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's look at the proscription of scavengers and cat pushers in Enugu State as regards to the security threats they pose. For you, do you think this is a sure way of fighting insecurity in the Southeast, and especially with the people involved?
Actually, it's a very strategic security move by the Enugu State government officials, and I must commend their boldness. You know, rarely do you see state government that look at key security strategies. Rather, you see a lot of them. The only thing they do is just to buy vehicles and call the media and then donate those vehicles to security operatives, and then that's the end of it. But now you are seeing the government actually targeting a soft target, a high-risk segment of the society. These are people that go to every nook and cranny of the rural environment. And if not well handled or managed, these persons can become security threats. And then the government has made definite pronouncement as to how the activities of these persons, can be curtailed. So I think it's a welcome move.
All right, let's look at the fact that the House of Fulani community was invited by the state government. Do you think that's to say or to suggest the people that are always, that are being fingered to carry out these threats?
Well, I do not subscribe to stereotyping or stereotypes of any kind. But I would imagine that the government, they've done their research, they've done their due diligence, and they've confirmed that the people who are most likely, who engage in such activities like scavenging and all these things, are people of that ethnicity. But however, it is not to say that all the scavengers are bad or are criminal elements. What it is that I think that the state government has identified this class of people as people that who take part in this activity. And then I would suggest that the government would now look at the leadership of this group and engage them with a view to see how the activities can be managed so that there will be enhancement of security in the state.
Okay, let's look at in as much as we now agree with the state government that scavengers play some role in the kidnap of victims, giving information to kidnappers, and also vice versa. Do you think that for the genuine scavengers, what can be done to ensure that their livelihood is not cut short completely?
Well, like I said, this all began as a result of petitions to the government regarding the activities of some of these scavengers. You understand, there's no smoke without fire.
Sure.
So of course, that prompted the government to look at the activities of these persons. And it wasn't only the Hausa Fulani They also invited the Igbo and Yoruba counterparts of the scavengers. So it was across board. But however, I think that this affords the government an opportunity to look at rules or engagement. Don't think that they want to, generally ban some activities. Perhaps they would look at how to, profile people who want to engage in that activity, and then ensure that there are rules that will enable such activities to be carried out in a legal way. You understand? That basically is it.
All right, let's just draw the analogy from what is happening in the southeast, Enugu specifically. Do you think that should be something the Federal Capital Territory should also put in place? Because we know all the manholes in the streets of Abuja are being stolen at night by these scavengers.
Yes, the infamous Babambolas. That's what they are called in the FCT. So I think that just like what we are trying to do now, sensitize the populace as to the trends and activities that citizens and government need to be conscious of. I think that if there's an escalation to the FCT authorities as to their activities, I think the FCT, of course, may do something of that nature as to engage. You remember that the FCT minister did hold a security summit, recently, where they looked at the state of kidnappings and all that. So I'm sure the activities of street hawkers and scavengers and all that was also a sub aspect of the security concerns of the state. But as of yet, we're yet to see pronouncements from the FCT administration regarding the activities of scavengers specifically. It has been hitherto been the issue of this one chance and kidnappers and all that for now.
All right, going back to the southeast, for you, some pundits have said that rather than ban these people, there should be a lead way towards finding out who their sponsors are and who these would-be kidnappers are, in terms of the security agencies trailing these scavengers to their hideouts, as in that could be a better way to, nip this their threat, rather than just place a ban on them. Do you agree?
Well, I agree that the security agencies should look into the activities of these scavengers, and then of course that is a process. It is not a one-day affair. It requires the process of non-linear engagement, security, intelligence, gathering, and widespread interactions amongst all the stakeholders. Remember, we did identify that the various petitions to the state government by citizens who are concerned led to this pronouncement. So I'm sure we will soon see the outcome of the investigations and by the police, and then of course further measures by the government to ensure that such negative trends are not perpetuated.
All right, from your perspective, do you think this ban might lead to more security breaches in the southeast, especially in Enugu? Because once these scavengers are banned from their daily activities, which is a source of livelihood, they are likely to get into other forms of criminality if there's no other openings for them to, make ends meet.
Well, the reality is that before this escalation, there has been a law, right? I would draw your attention to a law passed by the Enugu State House of Assembly sometime in 2023. Where there was I think Section 20 of the Enugu State Environmental Law proscribed the act of scavenging, and also stated that there will be a 2-year imprisonment for those caught to have acted in breach of these laws. So what it is now is that the government has actually activated or implementing, or is trying to implement that law that has been there. So I think that this is, of course, an opportunity to sensitize citizens and, as to the threats posed by scavenging and also alternatives. There's no vacuum in nature. If you are saying people should not do A, you should provide an alternative B action so that, they can make ends meet, as it were.
Okay, let's move on to in terms of this. Do you think the question will be? Do you think there should be a time frame for this ban? Should it be a blanket ban? Should there be a time frame placed for this ban to be lifted? And what do you think about the neighboring states? Would this make them drive these scavengers to other states? What threat would they be to the neighboring states from Enugu?
Well, really and truly, of course, criminal elements among the scavengers who will definitely not find things funny anymore in Enugu may be tempted to proceed to other states or to relocate to other states. And of course, we are using this opportunity to encourage neighboring state governments to take similar measures to ensure that their lives and the lives of their citizens are, of course, protected. So I think just like, when this issue of bike criminal elements among bike riders began, it swept across various states, across the nation, and now it's a thing of the past. So I'm sure, of course, there will be kickback, there will be protests, there will be, of course, some form of stubbornness among the citizens, but for the greater part, they will see the good of it eventually.
All right, just some 24 hours ago, we had the Afenifere group come out to make very sweeping statements as regards the issue of the ravaging kidnapping for ransom, saying that there are some insiders. When they say insider, they are alleging some government officials and also security agents who are benefiting and who are making this issue of kidnapping for ransom thrive. Do you think the Afenifere is right? And if that's the case, do you think also these scavengers are playing critical roles for this kidnap for ransom menace going on?
Well, the Afenifere, I think they've only, what they've said is actually a notorious fact. It was late President Musa Yar'Adua, of blessed memory, who said that when you see some form of anarchy or some crimes, in the society, and it is not nipped in the bud within a few hours, a few days, then there are some people in government, powerful people in government that are involved. So for me, I think it's a wake-up call for the government of the day. I'm sure President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is equal to the task. He has proven to be a man of decisiveness, and I'm sure there are measures in place to ensure that corrupt elements in the system, will definitely be taken care of. So I'm sure there's going to be some good news going forward.
The Afenifere, just still sticking to what they said, they also did call for community and community engagement as a way of town hall meetings and all that, as a way of quelling this menace. Do you think that's necessary, or do you think they're just seeking for probably a relevance or a way where the government can have some of them into a committee like they always do in Nigeria?
Sorry, can you say that again?
They also propose that the president should call for some community meetings as a way of helping to solve this issue of this kidnapping on the rise. Do you think town hall meetings is the way to go, rather than the security agents being fortified and given the needed tools to get the job done?
The solution to our problems are at the grassroots level. So, of course, without community engagement, how can you gather credible intelligence? You understand? It's very difficult to sit somewhere in Abuja and be able to put your finger on what is happening in somewhere in Edo State, in Abinebodo, for instance. But of course, if you engage stakeholders in that community and they have confidence in your capacity, they may be able to give you credible intelligence that will enable your security apparatus to take measures. So I think that it cannot be overemphasized, the need or the importance of community engagement. That has been mooted in various fora where the issue of security and our security architecture has been the main topic of discussion. So I think it is right. It is something that we cannot argue about it or argue against it. Worldwide, if you look at other climes where policing is even down to your doorsteps, you have street policing, county policing, and all sorts of community policing apparatus. The security, when crime happens, for example, in the US, it's very easy to identify the culprits because they have a well-established security apparatus.
All right. Still looking at what the SSG to the Enugu State government said, talking about Chidebe Onya as regards the proscription of scavengers. Do you think there are other groups that should also be looked into? Some people say those in the transport sector, the motor boys and those other groups of youths, restive youths, should also be proscribed and not just proscribing scavengers.
Well, I would say that cause and effect. Just like in the case of scavengers, this escalation arose as a result of the several series of petitions emanating from the public or from the communities to the government as to the activity scavengers. So I'm sure that if the Agberos, as they are called in Yoruba language, and this motto packed out, this kind of people, if they pose a threat, I'm sure that citizens know how to escalate or bring the attention of the point of the day, and I'm sure they will look into their activities. At the level of the Agberos, they have this sort of informal organization. They are very organized. The road transport union workers and all these things across the nation. So whereas these are usual suspects when it comes to unrest and riots and things like that, when there's tension in the environment. But within their various organizational structures, there's some form of control and management that makes sure that their activities are actually the negative antecedents are brought to the barest minimum. So for now, I don't think they do pose as much threat as the scavengers pose, especially in Enugu State.
All right, let's just look into the scavengers. Can we really the emergence of scavengers and also their activities? Can we say probably we can also blame the government or the environmental system of the country, of the state, because that waste bins or waste products are not well disposed. That's why scavengers have over time grown into some bit of importance and have had access to our streets and our homes.
Of course, that may be a remote factor, but then that be that as it may, criminal elements will always look for one avenue, one excuse to carry out their nefarious activities. So I wouldn't say that is the main cause. You understand? To at least, I'm confident that with the committee set up by the government to look at the extent of threats posed by these scavengers, they'll be able to look at the immediate and remote causes and look at if the waste management system is contributing to the emergence of criminal scavengers. Let me use that term, criminal scavengers, because not all scavengers are criminal, but some of them, using the toga of scavenging and waste picking, go out and do all these things. So I'm sure the government will take adequate measures to manage to fix whatever weaknesses they have in the waste management system of the state.
All right, let's
If
look.
it is found,
Okay,
yes.
let's look at now that this ban has been placed. If any of them, bridges this ban, legally speaking, what is going to be the outcome in terms of the process of prosecution and going forward?
Right. There are some special tribunals and courts set up for such for prosecution of such offences.
Okay.
So state laws give them room to do all those things, and interestingly, those caught scavenging within the state risk 2 years imprisonment. So I'm sure that has been fully designated. That has been fully communicated to all the citizens of the state. So as a deterrent, to them from partaking in such activities. So I think the state is well equipped to actually, bring such activities to an end.
All right. So you think the 2 years is good enough as a deterrent for people?
Well, of course. I mean, the motive or the morale behind imprisonment is to deter, is to reform. Correctional facilities are people who go in there, know better, than to continually, take part in activities that will return them to such environments. So it's an adequate deterrent for sincere, citizens.
But for those who feel like their work is genuine, scavengers that feel they scavenge genuinely because that's their business. They've got probably a little small scale company that deals with scavenging those products scavenged. They use it for recycling and all that. Can they also take part? Can they be prosecuted if found?
Well, it goes back to the waste management process or policy of the state government. I'm sure within the framework of the waste management policy, there's room for small-scale waste management industries, small and medium enterprises who specialize in waste management. Like I said before, such organizations definitely there's a process where they are profiled and registered and regulated to carry out their waste management activities, in line with law and order. So such organizations, I'm sure, are not subject to such bans.
All right.
You understand?
All right. All right. Let's wrap up our conversation with this last statistics. It's been said that 1,872 persons have been kidnapped in 8 months, while 2,423 people have been killed. For you, how disturbing are these figures?
Well, for me, I think that a lot of these statistics are suspect because the criteria for the gathering of such statistics is not really publicized, so one doesn't really know the basis for which such figures have been gotten. That doesn't mean that it is not disturbing or it is not alarming that such statistics are being spouted as such things are happening. Nobody likes to be in an environment where there's tension and unrest and and stuff like that. At times, in the last few weeks, I've been getting calls from friends and family members across the world telling me, oh, what's going on in Abuja? For example, I live in the FCT. What's going on? We hear this, we hear that. And I say to them, well, for some of us whose lives are regimented, we go from work to the office and church and stuff like that. We kind of are a bit security conscious enough to know that, to know where and when to go to and to watch the times that we go out. You understand? But it is disturbing. It is alarming. The good thing is that the government of the day is proactive enough to put measures in place to ensure that these things are not, this unrest and these risks, these threats are actually mitigated. So I think that with the measures in place, and of course, with the help of God, things will only get better.
All right, from your own assessment, if you're to rate the threat posed by scavengers from 1 to 10, what would you rate it as?
The threats posed by scavengers for me is more of an intelligence gathering network for more sinister elements, more sinister criminal elements. For example, I happen to know, like in the past in Edo State, it is this some of these scavengers and marabouts that give information to kidnappers about the activities of their victims and all that. So is low on the scale of criminal elements. It is actually the kidnappers and the robbers and all those who I feel are more dangerous. But of course, if the scavengers are not available to give credible intelligence or information to these people, they will not succeed in their activities. So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, their threat is on a level of 5.
All right, thank you very much, Kasta Elebe Sunu, for your time and helping us look at the security situation in the southeast, assessing the threat posed by scavengers as the Enugu state government has prescribed scavengers in that state. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. Have a blessed day.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day too. All right, we've been talking with one of Nigeria's finest lawyers there, Kesta Elebe Sunu, who helped us look at the issue playing out in the southeast. As Professor Chidebere Onya, the SSG to the government of Enugu State, has reaffirmed the recent prescription of scavengers and cat pushers in the state. We'll go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be discussing another very interesting issue, now having to do with corruption in the military as an incentive for insecurity is what we'll be talking next. Stay with us.